have not wanted to make any videos. During COVID, I signed up for Skillshare and started taking a couple of classes. One class on Skillshare talked about doing more rather than doing one thing perfect. There's a YouTube person I really like, and she had trouble with her camera, but she still posted the video. Another example is a guy down the street, self-made $100 trailer. Do, not perfect. I picked going on a trip, traveling after vaccination, a new book I read that I really liked, and getting back into all my medical appointments. Thing number 1, traveling after vaccination. I chose to self-isolate during the worst of the pandemic, but once there were vaccines, Karen jumped on getting us appointments. Thank you, Karen. We went to Lumen Field, we got vaccinated, and I made plans to see my mom for Mother's Day. Travel for me is hard, but COVID made it worse. So before I could even travel, I made sure to do a little prep. I got a face shield, I bought some N95 masks, I got a straw so I could drink my drink under my mask on the plane. And I even bought a little HEPA filter to take with me. One thing I don't do very well when I travel is handling the little inconveniences that come up. And that happened on the return flight. I went to check in and noticed it was going to be late. So I called Karen and said, "Don't come pick me up. It's going to be too late. I'll just get an Uber." But all afternoon I was mad, and the flight was more and more delayed. So I got to the airport, I was still mad. I got on the plane, everybody was really nice. And I just started reading my book. And when the guy picked me up, first thing I noticed, his car was spotless. And he played Bollywood music and had a laser light show. And it was kind of fun. And to top it off, he was a great driver. The stress of traveling is worth it when you get to see your mom after such a long time. And she's doing great. I was so impressed. It was also good to see my sister. And while we were there, we did nice things for my mom. My sister did a lot of planting and working in the yard. And I helped my mom get her new Mac laptop set up and her office kind of configured for her new workflow. And that felt really good. My second thing is a book. I needed a book for the flight. And I was watching a Katie Couric video.
Michael Lewis, first of all, so great to have you again on the podcast.
Michael Lewis has written a new book, The Premonition, a Pandemic Story. And it's about our response to the pandemic, but it's not really a political book. And what I like most about it is ordinary people are heroes. And the first major hero he talks about is just a woman health person in California who sees health issues differently and kind of looks at the CDC in a whole new light. The other two heroes are a father and daughter who are working on a science fair project. And I could relate to that because I remember my dad always helping me and my sister with our science fair projects. And they kind of came up with a way to model how we should do a pandemic response. One thing in common with all the heroes in the book is they're just normal people. They don't consider themselves heroes. They're just out doing their job. But they think outside the box, which I'm not very good at. But my sister is. And it's really an insight into thinking differently. And I recommend this book. It kept me really interested, made me look at the pandemic differently, and was a great travel book. The third thing that I did in the last couple of months was start to schedule all my medical appointments. During the pandemic, I called my primary care physician, and she said, let's wait, you don't need to come in unless you have a health emergency. So during the pandemic, the only things I did was go to the dentist, dental visit, drinking coffee from a straw, and do an online doctor visit when I got like a sty in the side. So the first appointment I made was with my primary care physician, and she said, well, I think you did pretty good. Your weight stayed the same and you look fine, but let's order tests. So the funny thing about a doctor's appointment is one usually leads to two, leads three, leads four, multiple appointments. So I went and got my blood work, and my cholesterol had gone up during COVID. And in a future video, I'll talk about some of the steps I'm taking about that. Then I had to go get a mammogram. It was busy because I think a lot of us put it off. And then the third thing is I've scheduled my colonoscopy. And when that's done, all my major doctor visits will be done. Oh, but I forgot about my eyes. So I also got my eyes checked. I had noticed my vision was getting bad. I can't follow the golf ball anymore. I can't read the closed caption on the TV. And it's my cataracts. While I want to get them fixed, I'm a little apprehensive. But in the fall, I'll probably have my cataracts done. So it might sound like I'm complaining with all these doctor visits, but really I'm not. And while this was all going on, I heard from other people who need surgeries, people who are going to have a long convalescence time, and even somebody who had to have an amputation. So I'm in good health, and I'm happy I could get that back on track. So the last few months, I've had some highlights. I traveled, read a good book, and got all my doctor's visits scheduled and starting to knock them off one by one by one. But the biggest thing is I got my feet unstuck, and I'm not procrastinating. I'm starting to do. I'm even doing a video again. And I'm learning that things can be stressful, but we just got to keep doing and not searching for perfection. Let's take a look. Fun, traveling after vaccination. Starting over. Bollywood music. So that one's good.